There we go. Welcome, everybody. I am Lisa Williamson with Rev Up Your Wellness. And tonight we are going to talk about feel it, face it, let it go. And this is to do with your emotions and the feelings kit. So I appreciate you stopping by and hope you have a little bit of grace for me. I think we're getting better with each one. I do want to start off with a quick little disclaimer. I am not a medical professional and I am not here to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Everything I share tonight is for educational purposes and comes from my own personal experience as well as some others. Always use the products as directed and talk with your healthcare provider about anything specific to your own health issues. So let's talk about something that every single one of us has, which is our feelings. The good ones, the messy ones, the ones we understand, and sometimes the ones we'd really rather shove in a box and tape it shut and stick it in the back of the closet. Tonight is called Feel It, Face It, and Let It Go. And we're exploring the 6 oils in the feelings kit. And if you've never seen it, this is the actual cover. And it comes with 6 5-milliliter bottles of the different oils that we're going to cover. They are Valor, Harmony, Forgiveness, Present Time, Release, Inner Child, and sorry about that, guys. Those are the 6: Valor, Harmony, Forgiveness, Present Time, Release, and Inner Child. So if you happen to have all 6, that's awesome. I don't. I'm short one, darn it. But grab them if you have them. And if you only have 1 or 2, that's fine too. Grab those. If you don't have any of them, we're good. You can just come curious and listen, because I think tonight may actually show you a completely different side of the essential oils. So, I dove into a class given by Sarah Harnish, and one of the things that she talked about in her feelings class was getting to a point where using our oils becomes almost automatic, not another chore on the list, but simply part of the rhythm of our day. And I do believe I am there. I love that, because that's exactly what some of these oils have become for me. These little bottles aren't here to magically make difficult emotions go away or difficult circumstances. They're not going to disappear, but they can become tools that we intentionally incorporate into moments where we need to pause, take a breath, reflect, and maybe reset or simply notice what we're feeling. So let's dig in. Okay, I need to pull myself together and do the thing. So does anybody know which oil I might be referring to? It's going to be Valor. This is actually an old bottle, an old, new, and now old again, or it's an old bottle. We've got the old Valor back again, and it's got a little shield on the label. So that was the original. This is the replacement, and I can get it turned right. This is the replacement, and now we're back to the original. Either way, I love them both. Valor is probably one of the oils that I most consistently use because it's part of something I do every single morning called Gary's Great Day Protocol. Valor is the first oil I use. And for me, it's actually become associated with starting my day grounded, with intention, and I'm ready to face whatever's coming. And, think about the moments when you're nervous about doing something. Maybe you have to have a difficult conversation, or you're walking into someplace unfamiliar. Maybe you have to stand up in front of people and talk. Been there and done that. Used a lot of Valor, a lot. um, Maybe you need to start something that you've been putting off. Sometimes we don't need the fear or uncertainty to magically disappear, but maybe we just need that moment where we can say, okay, I can do this. And that's actually what Valor represents to me. It's just a helpful little boost. If you have yours, feel free to open it up and smell it, take a breath, and ask yourself, where in my life could I use a little more courage right now? And just know you don't have to answer that out loud. I just want you to think about it. Oh, that smells so good. Everything feels like chaos, and I need a minute. Um, Next, we're going to talk about harmony. And I only have bottles of harmony because that's the only bottle I can get. But you'll notice I have a roller top on because that's how I use it. But this is another oil, obviously, that I use every morning as part of Gary's Great Day Protocol. So Valor and Harmony aren't oils that just sit in the drawer somewhere in my house. I literally use them daily. And that brings me back to what Sarah called oiling on autopilot. I don't get up in the morning and debate whether I'm going to use them. I normally don't have to remember why I bought them. They're just simply part of what I do, just like brushing my teeth. And I think the name Harmony really says so much, because how often does life actually feel harmonious? We're always kind of out of whack somehow, one way or another. We've got things to do. People need us. Our brains have 50 different tabs open. Mine does, I know. Sometimes we're just thinking about what happened yesterday. Worrying about what needs done tomorrow and maybe what we forgot 3 days ago, all at the same time. So it's just good to have that to kind of bring us back. In Sarah's notes, I made sure and wrote down, she says, Gary Young said, the biggest sin is not having confidence in yourself. Isn't that something? I mean, why would we even think that? But maybe. It makes you think, though, doesn't it? Because when everything around us feels chaotic, it can really be easy to lose our own center. So harmony has become part of that intentional morning ritual for me. And I liken it to, okay, let's get centered before the craziness begins. And so if you've got harmony, please smell it. Take another breath and think where does life feel a little out of balance right now? And again, I'm not expecting you to answer, okay? This is just kind of our private time. So, our next oil, sometimes simply recognizing it is important. Why am I still carrying this? It's going to be forgiveness. So now we're going to get a little deeper. Sometimes we hear that word and immediately think about forgiving somebody else, right? But what about ourselves? We beat ourselves up so much. And, things we wish we had done differently. Sometimes maybe something we said or something we didn't say, decisions we made with the information we had at the time, relationships, regrets, old hurts. Um, and I keep bringing up Sarah because I admire this woman. She's very smart and very brave. Her material talks about forgiveness as something that involves more than simply saying, okay, what happened was fine. Um, I don't think that's what forgiveness is about at all. Um, it doesn't necessarily excuse what someone did, and it doesn't erase what happened by any sense of the word. Um, just forgiveness is simply deciding, I don't want to carry the weight of this forever. And sometimes the person we have the hardest time forgiving is ourselves. So if you have forgiveness, smell it and quietly ask yourself, is there something I've been carrying longer than I need to? Maybe it involves somebody else. Maybe it involves you. There's no need to solve it tonight. Just notice what comes up. Okay. My brain is everywhere except where my feet are. Anybody have a guess of which one I'm going for next? Um, it's present time. It may be one of the most appropriately named oils ever. Because how much time do we spend somewhere other than right now? We replay yesterday. How many times? We worry about tomorrow. How much? We rehearse conversations that haven't ever happened. Or we replay conversations that happened, like I previously mentioned, 10 years ago. Sarah made a very simple observation in this section of her class. When we live in the past or dwell on the future, we aren't living in the present. Bingo. Because I think most of us can find ourselves doing one or the other pretty easily. And meanwhile, today is happening. And if we're not here, it's happening without us, right? So present time becomes that little reminder, come back here, right now. And if you have it, please smell it. Take a deep breath. Look around the room you're sitting in and notice where your feet are and ask yourself, am I actually living today? Or am I spending most of my energy somewhere else? And darn it, that's the one I don't have. Okay. But seriously, folks, that can be a pretty eye-opening question. You know, we need to do better at being present. What am I ready to stop carrying? This one is very personal for me. I have used a release. And again, I have a roller top on it because that's just me. But I've used it consistently for more than 3 years now. I started using it after we lost our granddaughter. And grief really does change you. And I know every one of us on here has experienced this. So there are no magic words, and there certainly isn't a bottle of oil that makes grief disappear. And I would never, ever tell anyone that. But release has become a part of how I have cared for myself while walking through something so incredibly painful. Again, I will reference Sarah's material where she shares Gary's notes about applying release over the liver area as part of his emotional release practices. And that also connects with the way I was originally taught about the emotional associations of different areas of the body, including the liver, with emotions that we may be holding on to. Our liver filters absolutely everything, so our emotions go through there too. And then our lungs hold the grief. And so I personally apply release over my liver area and across my chest and lung area every day. I still do it. And for me, that helps. I can breathe a little bit easier. It's become a little intentional moment in my day, where I can breathe. I acknowledge what I'm carrying. And I remind myself that I don't have to hold everything quite so tightly. And I just want to say something here that has become really important to me. Letting go does not mean we're forgetting. It doesn't mean we stop loving someone. It doesn't mean what happened didn't matter. And it certainly doesn't mean that grief has an expiration date. It just simply means I'm giving myself permission to grieve while I carry this. So if you have release, please take a moment and smell it and ask yourself, what am I carrying that feels heavy? And you don't have to tell anybody again. Just sit with it for a second. Okay. We're going to lighten things up a little bit again, because I know emotions get heavy. But when did we stop having fun, you guys? I don't even know when. We as a kid, we are always like, I can't wait to be grown up. And now that we're grown up, it's like, oh my God, I wish I was a kid again. but I'm talking about inner child right now. I do have that one. A little bottle of inner child. And I absolutely love something that Gary said about this one. When you are a child, all things are possible. There are no limitations. Think about that for a second. When we were kids, we didn't need a reason to play. We colored, we explored, we laughed until our stomachs hurt. We danced even though nobody asked us to. And now we're turning people down sometimes because we don't want to. We climb things we probably shouldn't have been climbing, you know? And somewhere along the way, we became adults. We've got the bills, the jobs, the responsibilities, schedules, laundry, all of it. Gary connected inner child with rediscovering that creative, possibility-filled parts of ourselves. And I really like that because maybe inner child isn't about going backward. Maybe it's about remembering that there's still a part of us that's allowed to be curious, creative, playful, silly, wonder-filled, joyful. And if you have inner child, smell it. And here's your question. What did you love doing when you were younger that you rarely do anymore? And maybe why did you stop? That's a good one. That's a good one. So putting all of this together, there's another thought from Gary's teachings that he talks about becoming aware of both our present feelings and the feelings we may still be carrying from the past, because those feelings can influence the choices we make today. And maybe that's really the heart of tonight. We're not pretending difficult emotions don't exist. We're not judging ourselves for having them. And we certainly aren't stuffing everything down, carrying on, and declaring, I'm fine. I know somebody on here always says, I'm fine. No names. But we're noticing, right? We're acknowledging, we're giving ourselves permission to feel, and we're creating little intentional moments to work through that we can. Now, look at these 6 oils together. We've got valor, I can face this. Harmony, I can find my center. Forgiveness, I don't have to carry everything forever. Present time, I can come back to right now. Release, I can loosen my grip on what feels heavy. And inner child, I'm still allowed to experience joy. That's why I don't look at the feelings kit as just 6 bottles of essential oils. To me, they become 6 little reminders, 6 intentional pauses, and maybe sometimes that's exactly what we need. So I can walk you through the feelings protocol if you'd like. That might take a little bit. So what I did do is put the protocol in a flyer that I can drop in the chat and you guys can download it, or I can send it to you through private messenger if you would like. I think I would rather do that, send it through private messenger, and then you can download it to your computers. Would that be okay? But that has the protocol of how you would apply the 6 oils. Okay. And then because I talked about the Gary's Great Day protocol that I do every morning, it's 4 oils, and it is the Valor, what I say, Valor, Harmony, and then 2 other ones. I had it here. Here we go. Joy and White Angelica. So I will actually show you without applying the oils. Here's the other little bottle of Valor. I told you there were 2 different ones. This is the one that you would get now. But I put a drop right here on my wrist, and I put my other wrist on it, and I rotate that 3 times in a clockwise manner, because that's the direction that our DNA goes, and that's the direction that the DNA of the oils goes. So I'm just working it into my system like that. And then I hold my wrists together, and I just close my eyes and say a little something, you know, whether it's to my God, or, just thanking him for the day, or, help me get through the day, whatever it is. That's what I do. Then the next thing I apply is the Harmony, and that goes over, and I just roll it over my solar plex, which is right here above my belly button. So I'll just do a quick swipe with that and rub it in. And then Joy, I just do a quick swipe over my heart and I rub that in. And then White Angelica, I put a drop in my hand. And again, I do the 3 rotations clockwise. And I just start up here, and I just go over my whole body, whether it's not really my clothes. Usually I've just gotten out of the shower and dried off. But if I have my clothes on, it's just on the outside. I don't put it on my clothes. But what you're doing with the White Angelica is like a shield, a positive shield. You're helping the negativity stay out of your bubble, plus you're helping your own negativity get out of your bubble. That's how I always understood it. And then I add the release, as part of my protocol, and I put that over my liver and again over my lungs and my heart. So I've got that protocol with the 4 that I can also send to all of you if you would like as well. So let's see. I guess I want to leave you with one question tonight. Which one of these 6 oils spoke to you the most, and why? And maybe you already own it. Maybe tonight made you look at one sitting in your collection completely differently. Or maybe you're suddenly curious about one you've never experienced before. That's exactly why we're doing these education stations, because I don't want people having their oils collecting dust, or just to collect the bottle. I want you to use these things. So that's why I'm doing this. And I want you to understand that the tools that we have, why we might reach for them, and how we can intentionally make them part of our real life, because we do have real feelings, right? We all have things we carry, and we all have days we need courage. We need the harmony and a reminder to come back to right now. And every once in a while, maybe we need permission to laugh and play and remember that little kid who thought just about anything was possible. Real feelings. real conversations, real tools for everyday life. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight. And remember, feel it, face it, and let it go. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.